Hello students, today we are going to go over 5.2a, solving multi-step inequalities. Now, you treat them very much like they were just equations with equal signs here and here. There's three major differences and I will show you those as we go throughout this video, okay? So we still put the line straight down where the inequality is. We're going to go ahead and solve for a just as if this was a normal equation. We first add 3, and I'm going to go ahead and put this less than or equal to sign there, and we subtract 3 from both, or add 3 to both sides, and that's what we get. Next, this is a divided by 2, so we multiply by 2. So a is less than or equal to -6. So that's our answer. We're going to graph it and also put it in interval notation. So I'm just going to put -6. If it's or equal to, it's a closed dot, and then it's shaded to the left. If we always have our variable on the left side, this less than sign, it can kind of tell us which direction we shade. So that's the direction we shade. More ink here means more ink here, so it's a solid dot shaded to the left. Okay, there's our graph. Now we also want to put it in an interval notation. The lowest number on the graph is going to be -infinity, and infinity always has a parenthesis, and the other number on there is -6 is our other one, and it is included, so it will be a bracket. So that's how you do that particular problem. Again, everything was the same as if it were an equal sign. However, it's a little bit different on the shading, and the interval notation is also new. Okay, over here, we're going to subtract 2 from both sides after putting a line straight down. And I want to see you putting this line across to keep everything neat and orderly. When students get messy, they tend to make mistakes. Okay, now, when you have a minus sign in front of x, it becomes a -x. This 2 goes away, and it's -2. Many students make the mistake of putting +2 because they see a minus behind it. But if I say 2 plus 2, that equals 4. So it's whatever. If it's positive, it's -2. If a minus sign were in front, then it would be +2. So we have -x is less than 0 minus 2 is -2. Next thing we want to do is we have to get rid of this negative in front of x, and we divide by -1. Now, the 3 ways that you would need to switch the sign is if you divide by a negative, which we just did. So I'm going to switch the sign there. So the 3 ways that you would switch the sign: if you divide by a negative on both sides, if you multiply by a negative on both sides, or if you use the reflexive property, and we'll do that one on the next problem. Okay? Next, we draw our number line. X is greater than 2. I put 2 there. Open dot, less ink here. It doesn't say or equal to, and it's shaded to the right. Okay, interval notation, lowest number on the graph. 2 is not included, so it's a parenthesis. 2, and it goes up through infinity. And it's always a parenthesis when you have infinity. Okay, a little bit more challenging problem is number 5 on your worksheet. First thing I'm going to do is I do not like to see variables on the right-hand side, so I'm going to use the reflexive property and reflect it. So I'm going to write it exactly as it is and put this whole thing on the right side and put this on the left side and put that on the right side. So I get -2, parentheses 1 plus 7k. I flip my sign, less than or equal to -114. Okay, so again, reflexive property, switch the sign. Multiply by a negative on both sides, flip the sign. Divide by a negative, flip the sign. Next, I'm going to go ahead and distribute this -2. Now, I multiplied by a negative through the parentheses using the distributive property, but I did not multiply by the negative on both sides. So I'm going to leave the sign the same direction. Okay. Okay, next I'm going to go ahead. It's negative 14 times k. Another mistake students make is they'll go plus 14 because they see that minus 14. But it is a negative 14 times k. So then we have to divide by a negative number. Uh-oh, dividing by a negative, what does that mean? It means we have to flip the sign again. So k is going to be greater than or equal to, let's see, 14 goes into 112. What is that, 8 times? Okay, our long division comes in handy. Negative divided by negative is positive. So k is greater than or equal to 8. I'm going to go ahead and do the number line to the left side here. Let's make sure you can see that. Okay, so we're going to put 8. Normally I'd put 7 and 9. Open or close dot. More ink or equal to means we include it. Shaded to the right. Okay, our interval notation, lowest number is 8. And it is included, so it's a bracket. And it goes on to infinity. And that's going to be a parenthesis. Okay, good luck on the other problems. You'll do great. You rock, students.